80% the same, 20% angrier. We are taking a look at the design notes of AQ World Infinity. Let's check this out. Last week was so rough that if I was offered a severed position on the macro data refinement floor of Lumen, I might have actually considered it. That was reference to a TV show, Severance. In that show, employees of a company have their memories severed, so one version of that exists only at work and the other version exists only in the real world. So, no taking work stress home with you. At least that's how I felt after looking at player feedback from last week's art post. From the comments and videos, the effort being put into the monster art upgrades was not received well. What? Really? I freaking loved them. Did I misread the room? I have been thinking and stressing about it all weekend. You are the boss, always have been. Your feedback is important and always welcome. Since I'm building this for you, what do you think of the games and their features? What you think about the games and their features is more important than what I think. Any creator who does not know this basic truth is in for a world of hurt. A creator creates to serve their audience. For this project's big picture, the original message I heard loud and clear is that you want to play AQ Worlds on mobile. You want to play your character and load your stuff on mobile. You want this. We want this. This is what we are all here to do. For the past few months, I've been talking about 3 circles, and he's referring to these 3. You want, I want, we can make. This is where a creator thrives for the people they are creating for. So, if we are all here with the goal of recreating a game we love for mobile, what happens when there are disagreements on how to make it? Last week, I posted what I thought would be a safe old versus new art post to kick off the year, and boy was I wrong. Players, including you, but not me, had very passionate thoughts about their love of the old original art. I get it, the original art was a special place in our hearts. Some people say it matches the old backgrounds better. This is legitimate feedback from people who play the game and intend to play the new version. So people clearly love it, and now the team is now debating on using old art or placing old monster art in certain zones, or having dedicated nostalgia maps, or possibly implementing a Halo-like toggle. The last one is actually possible, but extremely unlikely. The nostalgia maps make a whole lot of sense though. The goal of these posts is to communicate and get your thoughts, and I certainly heard you about the art this time. The post is about more than just the art though. There are going to be a lot of things that are different. No matter how small a change, most people hate change. It's true. I mean, I do. Stop improving Photoshop, Adobe. And that is so true. I'm so tired of when I'm using an interface on something and then they go and change it. Facebook's done it multiple times. I don't use Facebook anymore, so I don't care about that. But Fortnite recently did it with like their last or 2 chapters ago, 2 seasons ago. It irritates me when they change stuff. Stop changing things. And there is no way to port AQ Worlds 1-to-1. This weekend, it dawned on me that there is actually no way for me to win. Think about it. If I keep the game as close to possible, there's going to be complaints we didn't fix all the issues and things they did not like. If we fix all the issues, there will be mass complaints that we changed things and got rid of the stuff they liked. Converting something that so many people care about, this like performing heart surgery while running through a minefield. At least with posts like these, we can try to do it without a blindfold. And this is not just a port. This is a new game, a new engine, new art file type. It will be different no matter how hard we try to keep it the same. So that's why I declared the 80% the same, 20% better philosophy. This weekend, I saw this philosophy sort of hurled at me offensively, and boy, that stung. But after racking my brain for alternatives, the 80-20 philosophy is the only thing that actually works. We cannot make the game exactly the same as it was, but we can preserve the heart of it. The goal is simply not to change it too much. The only place where we should change it is where we can improve it for you and other players. Or, I guess, where there is no other option. As a realist, I am grimly aware that the 20% part is going to get a lot more heat than when we get closer to release, because better is a very subjective opinion. That is why I am reinstating the daily progress updates through the work week. Through these, I'll do my best to transparently communicate what exactly we're doing in Infinity. Please let me know what you think of any of the things we're working on. If you really want to make sure I see your comment, post your comments to the posts made on the Facebook page. So he's got a link to that Facebook page. That one, for some reason, pops up the alerts on my phone, so I tend to see them more than the others. And then the AQ World Infinity Daily Post number 1 for 2025 gets posted, and the daily updates are back. Check back on this post daily to see the latest behind-the-scenes progress updates on AQ World Infinity, a rebuild of the game that will allow you to play your character, load your stuff on mobile devices, and PC. There's a Sneevil animation by Nolgath. The goal of these posts are to transparently share with you what is happening behind the scenes in this challenging and spookily big game project. And man, it is big. So you see him popping up. One day I will test monsters and take screenshots from the different maps. One day. Monday. As you probably already know, every Monday the AQ World Infinity team starts out with a full team meeting to see how far we got since the previous week and make a plan on what we're going to do this week. We do these via a Discord voice chat where we can share our screens. Here's what everyone is up to. Spider is building the monster AI, telegraphing attacks and adding the new stats system to the skill forge. Nolgath is adding monster animations for the Bloodrut and Churro Valley. Silas is using the refined Bloodrut Keep for quests and cutscenes. Reens is doing the Bloodrut Keep construction with updated script, then the Tower of 100 levels. Ghost is working on cutscenes, example, dialogue cutscene, and new Bloodrut cutscenes, and the first pet. Ooh, Tunic, new cutscene editor features for Ghost. J6, backgrounds and maps. Yomi, database and server changes for new stat and power systems. Myrtle Joe, updating Mage, Warrior, Healer, and Rogue with new stat system once the tools are updated. Diagon is working on new item detail screen and then adding new menu system to the skill forge. Warlick's working on the new version of the Cloud Builder, which supports batch updates for weekly updates, single item transfer system, and Android build. Ooh, Android build. Zoom. Note, Zoom is involved in all the coding activities. Prep to upgrade the projects to the newest Unity LTS. I hate when you have to update everything to Unity thing because that's happened in AQ3D before. It will definitely happen in the new AQ World Infinity, but it changes things because you're updating everything, so certain things don't port over, and then you have texture problems, and it's, oh man. I mean, you have to do it in order to keep the support from Unity, but it's still irritating when that happens because there's all kind of things that go wrong. Artix is involved in all the content activities. Get everything finished and ready for the next tech demo. Our first pet. Ghost reanimated the game's first pet. Warlick created special scripts for pets that give them behaviors. Now they just run around with you, but we left the door open to do far more interesting things with them in the future. We can talk more about that once we actually do any of those things. But one thing that I thought was incredibly smart is that pets now use the same animation controller as monsters. This means that battle pets can be actual combatants. Also, I think it means monsters can be pets. Every pet in the game has to be reanimated manually. Not a great situation. We made a list of the top 100 equipped pets in the game. Equipped pets? Really? But that doesn't mean they're the best pets. It just means they're the most functional. But anyways, figured that would be a good place to start. Before we start converting them, we need to finish repository and cloud builder changes for items. I am meeting with Zoom and Warlick tomorrow to make some final decisions on how we are going to do it. The Cutscene Dialogger Editor. This is the Dialogger, our homebrew cutscene editing tool. It's not very pretty yet, but it works. The demo cutscene that Ghost made is pretty funny and shows off what we can do. You'll see that for yourself in the next test. Ooh, cool. So he's got cutscene animation test, little thing here, different options and buttons and whatnot. I don't want to take too long looking at it, but lots of different, you got actors, Artix, actor, Ghost. Here's some of the things the Dialogger does. Creates cutscenes for AQ World Infinity, both dialogue and cinematic. Uses Infinity's characters and monsters as actors. No need to duplicate the art into each file like we do in Flash. Can load a single bundle filled with assets, a single load instead of lots. AQ, DF, and AQ World style text boxes with hot swappable arrows and arrow styles. Localized text boxes, supports different languages, controls actor animations, independent tweening of objects, camera control, multi-select for moves and animations. We took this for granted until we had to build our own. Undo also took this for granted. Saves to local files or the game's database. When we start building this, the vision was a simple visual novel type system, but things quickly spiraled out of control. We also needed full cinematic cutscenes. The assumption was that we would do a heavy animation using Unity's animation system and then just have the dialoguer tell them to run, but Ghost started actually animating the cutscenes in the dialoguer. So Tunic kept improving it to make it possible for him to do the animation things he wanted. The tool we ended up building is going to allow us to make or remake the AQ World cutscenes in Unity. Shadow creature animated by Nolgath. Look at that shadow creature. There he is running along. Combat stats and power system. Last Thursday, we had a big meeting to make a hard decision on our combat stats. Yomi has implemented the new stats and formula in the database and server. During the meeting today, we came up with a plan to put it to action. Spider already set up the skill forge, which is a tool we need to build the classes and use them. By tomorrow morning, Immortal Joe will changes the class to UCs. What? That doesn't make sense. In the next test, your weapons will automatically get randomized stats when you log in. They're not going to save to the database yet. We will need to give it some more reality check testing before we make it permanent. For example, one side effect of the new stat system is that haste is operating at 400%. The auto attack looks like a food processor on overdrive. Funny. Easy enough to fix, but oh man, is it funny. In the previous post, we talked about trade skills like being able to use blacksmithing or weaponsmithing to upgrade another player's items. We left some growth in the items stats just for that. While we're currently in the brainstorming phase, it's not a far-fetched idea. In Corey's YouTube video, which covered the last post, there seemed to be a question on how something like this could work. We're thinking of initiating it in the same way you could interact with an NPC, except it would be a player with a trade skill. In this idea, the player with a trade skill would basically be a shop. So you would never need to hand your weapon to another player, but the player with the trade skill would need to get all of the ingredients to perform the upgrade, and they would set the price and be able to approve and deny the request. I have no idea how that would operate, but it sounds like a really cool idea. This is awesome. Really nice like that. Introducing Lurkle. Oh, this is Lurkle. Lurkle is a ghost moglin. At least we think he is. Maybe he's a moglin under the effects of a levitation spell with the penchant for stealing designer sheets from the hotel he was staying at. Regardless, Lurkle is being, it sounds like Urkel. I'm thinking of for Family Matters for some reason. Lurkle is being added to the first frame of Bloodrut Keep. Now that our NPCs have the ability to move around maps as you quest, we need an NPC to remain in the first frame to greet players. It's also a good idea to keep the story on the main NPC and move all the side quests, craft shops, cutscene replays, and other side things into a different NPC. So we're going to try this in Bloodrut with Lurkle. This is not a hard set in stone rule. Obviously, there will be some areas where this is not possible. When J6 was creating the art, he made a crumpled up folded sheet version of Lurkle. It is too funny not to use, but we're not sure how to work it in yet. Maybe we can put it in a side quest cutscene? Bloodrut Keep is a pretty creepy place with a dark story. This character will never go inside the keep, but will lighten the mood when you are outside of the dungeon. And that is it for this one. Now, this was a big video, but there's a lot of information there, and I'm really interested in the new pet. I think that's going to be awesome. What do you guys think of the progress being made? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Keep those swords swinging.